Hey everyone, I am Kenneth Aguilar, and today I'll be talking about Memories of Murder, one of the most powerful and eerie crime films to ever come out of South Korea. It's directed by Bong Joon-ho and released in 2003. But it's more than just a murder mystery, it's really a dark reflection into the real life case and injustice and police failure and the frustration of so many unanswered questions in South Korea. So let's dive into it. The film was directed by Bong Joon-ho. You might know him from some other films that he made, like Parasite, Snowpiercer, and Okja. He's known for mixing some sharp social commentary into genre films, and Memories of Murder falls into that. It also stars Song Kang-ho, Kim Sang-hyung, Song Kang-ho is also from Parasite. He's on a lot of South Korean films as well. I see him as a South Korean Tom Hanks. This film was released in 2003. It's about, a little over 2 hours. Um, Budget fairly small at 2.8 million, and it did fairly well at the box office at 12 million. And Going into the real case. What makes the movie even better for me is that it's based on a true story. It's based off South Korea's first known serial killings. It takes place between 1986 and 1991. About 10 women were raped and murdered in Hwasong, a small part of South Korea. And It's pretty eerie because the film goes pretty into depth about the real life case, but the case has actually never been solved, at least when it was made. Um, Amazingly, in 2019, they actually identified the real life killer through DNA evidence, who happens to be a man named Lee Chun Jae, who is spotted in the bottom right of the slide deck. It's interesting because he was actually already in jail, serving time for a different crime. And What's a little eerie and a little disturbing is that there's actually a chance and a rumor that he saw the film Memories of Murder while in prison, which is kind of insane. He's seeing a depiction of his own crimes on the big screen. So, going more into the plot, the film opens with a murder basically in a rural part of South Korea. And from there, it goes into a very tense and frustrating investigation. The detectives are under pressure and they're really unequipped to handle a case like this. They have so many leads, but they end up going nowhere. And the film really dives into how the detectives try to manipulate the leads and the tips into a truth, even though that truth might not be the truth to the story. For example, suspects get beat in their confessions, and it's not really like they're solving the case, they're just more so reacting to it. And over time, more bodies are turning up. The town is um, sinking deeper into fear, and the cops get more desperate. And what's really interesting about this film is that it focuses less on the killer, but more so on how the people are chasing him slowly are beginning to unravel. So by the time you get to the end of the movie, you you feel pretty gutted. So some themes with the film, like I said, it's not really just a crime thriller. It's a lot more. The director dives into so much. It really explores the flawed systems that can really just destroy people as a whole. It really dives deep into how police pressure and politics can twist investigations and forming a truth that fits for them, but not necessarily fits for all of society. And it's really terrifying to see that no one really knows what they're doing. However, they're still acting like they do on such a big case where so many lives have already been tragically been murdered, and so many lives could tragically be murdered in the future. So It also reflects South Korea in the 80s, where it was about a time of dictatorship, censorship, and a very big public distrust towards the police. And this film, interesting, does not really show the police as heroes. They show them for what they are, and they're showed as violent, very misguided, and just operating in a system that just cares about results. So, what I really enjoyed about this film was the cinematic style. The director really knows how to like create tension within the film, whether it's like a quiet moment, a dark field, or a very violent, chaotic scene in an interrogation room. The use of the rain, the mud, and the open countryside, it just really all adds the feeling of like isolation, helplessness, and just kind of the dark that the investigators are really in. But some things I really like is the mix of the humor and horror. Um, but it's not oddly done, if that makes sense. It makes the sad parts just even hit like harder. And every performance feels really raw and really real, and it just feels like as if I was there in South Korea in the countryside, worried as hell about someone close to me getting raped and murdered. So some aspects that I've learned about from the film, it really made me think about justice, not necessarily just in courtrooms, but like emotionally, like especially putting myself in the victim's shoes. Like, what does it do to people when they, never get closure? What happens when you're just, doing your job means lying or hurting some other people or chasing ghosts? And it reminded me that real life trauma just really doesn't always come with answers or endings, as unfortunate as that sounds. And sometimes the truth doesn't come out for decades, if ever. And even then, the damage is already done. For example, the real life killer wasn't found until maybe like 2 decades after the crimes are being committed. And even since he has been found, South Korea has to live with that wound that took place. And so, if you have never seen Memories of Murder, I highly suggest it. It's free on Tubi. Um, if you've ever seen a film called Zodiac, which is very, very similar, and you liked it, then you're going to love this film. And if you have seen the movie, I suggest maybe try rewatching it. And while thinking about the fact that it's based on a real life case, and think more so there's historical context. With that, thanks for watching. Hope this gave you something to think about. And if you liked this video, then please like, share, and subscribe.